Receiver Rashee Rice has accepted his 6-game suspension for violating the league's personal conduct policy. Rice was sentenced to 30 days in jail and probation for his role in a multi-car crash last year. For more on this story, we're joined now by Jeff Darlington and Booger McFarland. Jeff, what more can you tell us about how the league came to this decision?
Well, Kevin, what's most interesting about this decision is not necessarily that it was 6 games. It is instead that it will start week 1 of the regular season. Initially, we anticipated this suspension to take place later in the year. There's a disciplinary hearing that was scheduled for September 30th. We thought that after that hearing, then the NFL would levy its punishment. Instead, the NFL and the NFLPA getting together and coming to a negotiation that it would be a 6-game suspension and it would start at the beginning of the year. In some ways, this can be considered a win for the Chiefs from the standpoint that they get the suspension out of the way at the beginning of the year. They'll then have Rice available later in the season. The NFL, meanwhile, just wanted to make sure that they got this out of the way. 6 games, a heavy punishment, but one that will start week 1 of the regular season.
Now, keep in mind the Chiefs keeping 8 wide receivers on their roster after yesterday's cuts.
Yeah, so you heard Jeff say the good news is they can kind of get it out of the way. The bad news is the Chiefs start the year with one of the most difficult stretches of the season. Look who they play. These are 3 of the top 5 teams in the NFL, according to ESPN Analytics, being the Eagles, the Ravens, and the Lions. And they open their season next Friday with a division rival in Brazil when they face the Chargers. So, Boog, how much will Rice's suspension affect the Chiefs, at least at the start of the season?
It's going to hurt a little bit. Had it been last year when Hollywood Brown got hurt, it would hurt a little more. But this year, Hollywood Brown is healthy. You got Xavier Worthy, the speedster from Texas, Tyquan Thornton. And so I think you have enough receivers. With what Kevin said, keeping 8 receivers, they have enough receivers on this team to make up for the lack of Rashee Rice. And you add in Travis Kelce and his ability to work the middle of the field, to go along with Patrick Mahomes. I understand they're going to miss him, but they will be fine, especially with Andy Reid calling the plays. So this is going to be a bump in the road, and I think it was a nice strategic move by the Chiefs and by Rashee Rice by getting this done early, because we know they play their best football toward the end of the season. And I think there was a rumored 10-game suspension on the table. The negotiation got it to 6, and I think this is the best of both worlds for both Rashee Rice and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, if you look at last season alone, when he does come back, they're going to go to him quite a bit. He had 24 catches and 288 yards and 2 touchdowns before he suffered that season-ending knee injury in Week 4. Jeff, thanks. Boog, you've got more of us. Sorry, and you're welcome. Boy, busy day around the NFL. Colts GM Chris Ballard said flat out they are not going to trade Anthony Richardson, just despite the fact that Daniel Jones earned the starting job and Richardson's battling injuries and, of course, accuracy issues. Ballard said it'll be good for Richardson to learn from a veteran.
Hell, the Vikings are bringing back hometown hero Adam Thielen, acquiring the receiver from the Panthers. Thielen grew up in Minnesota, went to Minnesota State, spent the first 10 years of his pro career with the Vikings. Remember, Jordan Addison is suspended for the first 3 games.
Oh, dinner's on Kyle Hamilton for life. The Ravens just made him the highest paid safety in league history. The 2-time Pro Bowler agreed to a 4-year, $100 million extension, $82 million of that guaranteed. The previous highest guarantee for a safety was only $45 million.
Wow. Texans GM Nick Caserio isn't sure if running back Joe Mixon will play this year. This week, Mixon was put on the non-football injury list with an ankle issue. Will miss at least the first 4 games. LSU-Clemson meeting Saturday night for the first time since meeting in the 2019 title game. That game on ABC primetime. Then Sunday night on ABC primetime, Miami looking to snap an 8-game losing streak against top 10 teams as it hosts Notre Dame. Booger McFarland back with us, but this time to talk some week 1 of college football. But can't recall a better slate of top 10 games to start the season. Let's start with number 1 Texas at number 3 Ohio State at the shoe, and their 2 quarterbacks starting here with Heisman favorite Arch Manning. What are you watching for in this matchup?
Well, I want to see how the play caller and head coach Steve Sarkisian gets Arch Manning off to a good start. Yeah, he started some games before, but I want to see him on the road in this environment. I think it's going to be imperative to make sure he comes out, get him into the game early, get him hit. Arch is a mobile quarterback. We know he's more athletic than Peyton or Eli ever thought they could be. So let him run some quarterback runs, get him hit, get him a feel for the game, especially on the road, and lean on this offensive line, even though they're breaking in some new guys and new spots. Get him comfortable. When you go to the other side of the ball, Kev, when you talk about Julian Sand, I think he is in a tougher predicament, and here's why. They got the best player in America outside wearing number 4 in Jeremiah Smith. There's got to be a lot of pressure on Ryan Day and Julian Sand to get the ball to Jeremiah Smith. So where Manning can kind of ease into the game and use his athletic ability, the best part of Ohio State is going to be Cornell Tate and Jeremiah Smith. Can they get the football to these wide receivers? I do think there's a little bit more pressure on Sand than Manning, but Julian Sand is going to be at home. So we'll see, does the home field environment help young Sand and get this Ohio State offense rolling and get the ball to Jeremiah Smith early and often?
Okay, so Texas-Ohio State, obviously a really big matchup, but same for your Tigers in the battle for the real Death Valley facing Clemson. Here actually is their quarterback, Klubnik, talking to you about expectations as they get ready for LSU.
I think sometimes you go into a first game and you feel like you gotta go do all this, insane, crazy plays and go make all this, wild stuff happen. But at the end of the day, you just gotta do the routine plays and do them really well and do them routinely and just go rip it. Just go rip it and just have fun. Go live out the work that you've been putting in. What a great opportunity we have. We get to go play. So just go enjoy it and be excited for success.
So both of the quarterbacks in this matchup, Klubnik and Nussmeier, are actually 9-1 odds to win the Heisman. I want you to talk through expectations for both quarterbacks, but start with Clemson's QB Klubnik.
Cade Klubnik, very experienced quarterback. A lot of pressure on him because this was the year that Clemson and Dabo said that they were building to win a national championship. And so all that experience is going to come into play. Now, he's a mobile quarterback. They're going to call a lot of quarterback runs, I think, especially since they're trying to figure out who's going to be their starting tailback. They moved the wide receivers to tailback. So expect early on Cade Klubnik is going to carry the football. But here's the thing. He's got maybe the best receivers that Clemson has had since Sammy Watkins and DeAndre Hopkins. They have guys on the outside that can flat foot go. So can they get them the football? Now, when it comes to the real Death Valley and Baton Rouge, Garrett Nussmeier, I don't think there's any pressure on him. I think the pressure is going to be on offensive coordinator Joe Sloan because he's the one that's calling the plays. He can't call 75 passes during this game. LSU has got to show an ability to at least run the football. I think Joe Sloan, the OC, the way he calls this game is going to dictate a lot to how Garrett Nussmeier plays. If there's 25 or 30 passes, I think Garrett Nussmeier can have an outstanding day. If this turns into 40 or 50, that's not going to be good for two reasons. LSU is replacing 4 out of 5 starters on the offensive line, and Clemson's got 2 guys that look like me on the other side. Guys are going to be drafted in the top 10 of the draft, and they're coming after Garrett Nussmeier. No doubt about it.
That look like you now or look like you when you were playing? Both imposing, by the way.
I look the same. I don't know if you looked at me lately. I could still play. Are you kidding me?
I give you 2 plays.
Come on.
I give you literally 2 plays.
If you don't like it, who else will?
2 plays and you're looking at the sidelines. Get me out, coach.
Yeah, maybe one.
By the way, Nussmeier and LSU are 3.5-point dogs at Clemson's Death Valley. All right, Carson Beck. Elle knows all about him. No stranger to rivalries from his days with Georgia. Now the new Miami quarterback gets a new one with number 10, Miami playing number 6, Notre Dame Sunday on ABC. It's not Catholics versus convicts anymore, but there's still some heat here. Here's Beck.
I feel great. I mean, I feel like I'm the best I've ever been. I'm in a great mindset, mentality. The guys around me, man, have been working their tails off, and we've all been working really hard together. So, again, I'm really excited for the opportunity to just go out and compete. But, I mean, I feel like I'm in a great spot mentally, physically, and just all around.
Physically, it's really important to hear that because obviously you dealt with injuries. We're going to see that veteran Carson Beck on one side making his first start for Miami versus a freshman in C.J. Carr on the other side for Notre Dame. What catches your eye starting with Beck?
You know, Kev, I find it interesting that they were so ready for him to leave Georgia, even though they knew he was going to come back healthy this year. So as he transitions to Miami, I want to see how his teammates in Miami rally around Carson Beck. Like, it's clear to me that people in Georgia didn't necessarily want him because he could have came back because he's playing for Miami this year. So how do the teammates in Miami rally around him, especially coming off Cam Ward? By all accounts, Cam Ward was the de facto leader of that team. He was the guy that ran the team. Can Carson Beck assume that leadership role in such a short time? I think that'll be key. And when you talk about Notre Dame, C.J. Carr, grandson of Lloyd Carr, probably should have went to Michigan if you talk to some people. I don't think there's a ton of pressure on him because Notre Dame, outside of Happy Valley, they have the best backfield in America. Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, an offensive line that is always good, even if you don't know their name. They're going to run the football. I think this is going to be a physical game. I don't think Carr's going to throw more than 20 passes. They are going to run the football in South Florida on Sunday night and see if the U is really back. And if they can handle the run game, I think Miami has a good chance to win the game. If they can't, this will be a quick game, and the 11 o'clock Sports Center might start at about 10:15.
Yeah. Let me, just as the resident Georgia fan real fast, just want to defend the fan base really quick. I just don't think Georgia fans wanted to keep Carson Beck at the price Miami was willing to pay. I'll leave it there.
You don't have Lamborghinis and
all that money y'all got up there, and then, are you kidding me?
Come on. Like,
Again,
okay.
at the cost it was going to be to keep him. I'm just saying.
Wow.
You know?
Just one Lamborghini?
You know what you don't bring to a gunfight? A sword. You bring a gunner.
Oh,
Thank you. Kevin and Elle are back, and so is the NFL, and so is Terry McLaurin. Just in time, too, agreeing to a 3-year, $96 million extension after sitting out all of camp in a contract dispute. Washington certainly needs him. He was Jaden Daniels' main man. He spoke, actually, for the first time since getting his new deal. You're hearing it now on SportsCenter.
It was a long process, and, you know, there's no playbook or script on how to handle this situation. And so, you know, you start out one way, and then you hope that it ends the way it's ended. I'm thankful for this process to just be able to be back on the field, but I'm really happy to be back out here with my teammates, and just very thankful to be a part of this organization and a part of this fan base that's supported me through all of this. So it's exciting.
Last season, McLaurin was by far the Commanders' top receiver. Jaden Daniels had 12 touchdowns and 1 interception targeting McLaurin, compared to 7 touchdowns and 4 picks when he was targeting other receivers. This year, McLaurin had a little bit of help, too. They added Deebo Samuel. I'll see.